All right, Representative Mathews, if you could share your thoughts on the 2010 legislative session, which this morning Governor Butch Otter called pretty much a success. What do you think?
The 2010 legislative session was a brutal success. We had to make some very tough decisions, and that's what we signed up to do, and we successfully did it. Unfortunately, we're in a lagging economy, so we had to make some tough decisions, and we had to curtail and hold back government growth. We had to watch our budgets. I'm proud to say we held the line on government growth and lived within our mean, and we didn't raise taxes because homeowners and businesses can't deal with another tax increase right now. So yes, I would say overall it was a success, but it was a brutal success.
Okay. This morning in a press conference following Otter's press conference, House and Senate Democrats said that the 12 or so memorials they said were thumbing our nose at the federal government they were a waste of time. What do you say to that?
Well, let us remember, better government means limited government. And limited government means more personal freedom to live the American dream. And that's how I believe philosophically. And remember that the states created the federal government, and the federal government didn't create the states.
Mm-hmm.
It's our job to do that. And I apologize for nothing, and I'm proud to stand with the governor in suing the federal government for this encroachment that's unconscionable.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that are critical of the Idaho Health Freedom Act, which you just spoke of, that was integral in the lawsuit against the federal government over health care reform, a lot of people say that that's just a waste of time and money, and that Governor Otter and the legislature should be focusing on jobs or turning the economy around. Do you think that the lawsuit and the Idaho Health Freedom Act were a waste of time also?
The Freedom Act was not a waste of time. In fact, to the contrary, that is the state's business. And there's a constitutional precedent that when states were first formed, the states would actually send delegations, i.e. the senators,
Mm-hmm.
to represent the states. And so we do have there is a historical precedent to be about this kind of business and providing the check that's necessary. This was this was a grab for 1/6 of the federal or the national economy, and that impacts jobs, and that impacts. The IRS is going to enforce people who don't buy federal health insurance. I don't know about you, but I have a problem with that. This is not the business of the federal government. This is a state's sovereignty issue, and the federal government has no business being in this game, and we intend to challenge it.
Now, if you could pick one or two pieces of legislation as the best bills that will likely become law, what do you think that those would be?
The best bills, you mean federal or state?
State bills that came out of the 2010 session.
Well, I think the overall ones were, I have to go back to the budget bills, the appropriations bills,
Mm-hmm.
where we held the line on government spending. We're with high hopes that we held enough.
Mm-hmm.
If the economy continues to lag, we'll be here in a special session. But I think we acted appropriately. Those are the things that stand out in my mind that seem paramount. I worked on a concurrent resolution with Representative Jarvis. I was a co-sponsor on, talking about federal budget and the proper role of the federal government in relation to the people and to the states. I also did another bill, which I was one of many co-sponsors. I was a co-sponsor on House Bill 707. You'll have to forgive me. There's thousands of numbers to remember, but unfortunately that got a print hearing, but that'll be evolving over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But it will help make Idaho even a more attractive state. We are open for business here in Idaho, and government can never create jobs. This is what the left wants to believe. The government can never create jobs. What the federal and state government can do in exercising its proper role is creating an environment so the private sector can do what they do best. They can be industrious, they can be innovative, they can provide meaningful relationships so jobs can be built and companies can flourish. When businesses and companies flourish, then you have the economy flourish, then you have jobs. It's good for the economy, it's good for the middle working class, it's good for all the working classes and all people everywhere. And that's what made America and Idaho great in the first place, is an environment that's business friendly, an environment that's tax friendly and fair and uniform, and we're with high hopes we'll be working towards those things.
Okay. Now you, after it's been 3 terms you've served in the legislature?
Yes.
After 3 terms, you're retiring to go challenge Republican Mike Simpson in the Idaho 2nd Congressional District. Can you tell us about the state of your campaign and how that's going?
Yes, I can. The state of our campaign, running in the Republican primary for the 2nd Congressional District, is doing quite well. We did our campaign did a lot of careful, methodical calculations on feasibility and possibilities. And we believe that the winner of the primary shouldn't go to the highest bidder. And when I've run before, I typically am not the one that raises the most money. We focus our campaign on the message and getting results.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that in the state government, in the state legislature, and I fully intend to do that in the federal or the United States Congress. I used to work back there as a staff member for a committee. I've seen it. If you want to think about it, you've got 2 choices. You've got the status quo, and they know how the good old system works, as business as usual, and what the electorate has to decide if that's what they want to go with: exponential government growth, government spending, higher taxes, government encroachment. Or you can go with someone like me, who has had legislative experience, who has been to Washington, D.C. over a period of years and got experience there and has done stuff, who has successfully promoted conservative principles and Reagan-like principles in the state government. And I can hit the ground running. And in my mind, there's not anyone else that can do that. Anybody can learn this job, but it takes several years to get to that point. Mm-hmm. We're at a state of the nation where someone has to take charge and ask what is to be done and find out who's going to do it, and then do the deed. And that's why I'm doing it, for my family, for my children's future, for your children's future.
Okay. Now, obviously, you know who you want in Idaho's 2nd Congressional District in May. That would be you over anybody else. Do you have an endorsement for the 1st District where Vaughn Ward is running against State Representative Raul Labrador, or are you withholding that judgment as for now?
I'm holding that judgment as for now. I work closely with Representative Labrador on a number of issues. He offers some of the same things that I do. He has the legislative experience, and this is just public knowledge, but I can't go so far and do an endorsement yet. But what I can say is he is one like me who can hit the ground running in Washington, D.C.
Perfect. Thank you.